what's up guys, TechTitan here, and I am back again with a brand new video. So before I begin this video, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching this one. If you enjoy my content, you know what to do. Go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. I'll leave purchase links for these phones in the description below as well. Okay, with that being said, today we're going to be comparing the Moto G Stylus with the LG Stylo 6. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start off with the design of the LG Stylo 6. So the Stylo 6 has a triple camera setup on the back with the LED flash, and the main sensor is a 13 megapixel, accompanied with a 5 megapixel ultra wide and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. And I'll talk about the cameras in a little bit more detail later on. And you also have underneath it the fingerprint sensor, and the whole back of the LG Stylo 6 has this kind of shiny glass material finish to it, and it looks really nice. I really like it. I think it's a cool design to have and unique in a way. Okay, so on the right hand side you have your power button, and on the left hand side you have your volume up as well as your Google Assistant button. On the bottom, of course, you have your stylus, you have your speaker, a USB-C, a microphone, as well as the headphone jack. And on the front of the phone you have your 6.8-inch Full HD Plus display, which is a 1080p panel, as well as your front-facing camera. Now the display on the Stylo 6 looks really nice. It's sharp, detailed, very good quality IPS panel. Now transitioning to the Moto G Stylus. So the G Stylus has a plastic back. It does have these kind of little patterns on the back. They don't provide any grip or anything like that, but they're there for aesthetics. Sensor. And you also have a quad camera setup here instead of a triple camera setup on the Stylo 6. So your main sensor is at 48 megapixels. You also have your depth sensor as well as your macro sensor, which are 2 megapixel apiece. And you also have your wide angle sensor. Again, more on the camera in a little bit. You also have your LED flash, which kind of resembles a actual DSLR flash, and they are called like a xenon flash, but it's really just a standard LED flash. So on the right hand side you have your volume up and down, as well as your power button, which also acts as your fingerprint sensor. Okay, on the front of the display you have your front facing camera, which is a 16 megapixels. And the full display, all in all, is a 6.8-inch display as well, and it's a Full HD Plus display. And in this design, they decided to go with a hole punch, where the camera is just embedded within the display. Now, looking at these phones side by side, they have some distinct differences in terms of design. So one is more boxier, one is more rounded up. One has a display where it uses a kind of a what they call a teardrop notch and a hole punch notch for the G Stylus. And the displays overall, they're really comparable. I mean, it's really hard to tell which is better just by looking at them side by side. I think they both provide some quality IPS panels. So displays on both, you really cannot go wrong. Now, as far as specifications, let's start with the Moto G Stylus. So the G Stylus has a Qualcomm chip, which is the Snapdragon 678 octa-core chip, accompanied by 128 gigabyte of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM, where it's a little bit of a downgrade on the LG Stylo 6, and uses a MediaTek processor, which is not as powerful as the one that Snapdragon provides. It also has a standard 64 gigabytes of storage as well as 3 gigabytes of RAM. So spec game on paper, they're obviously better on the Moto G Stylus. Now, as far as day-to-day tasks, the G Stylus beats the G Stylus beats the Stylo 6 by a little bit. In some ways, in some apps, the Stylo 6 actually beats the G Stylus. So I guess specs are also comparable. These really will come in handy when you're multitasking. That's where the Moto G Stylus will shine over the Stylo 6. Now, as far as heavy gaming and stuff like that, the Moto G Stylus is better at handling that than the Stylo 6, if that's also a part of your purchasing decision. Now let's talk about the most important feature of these phones, which is obviously the styluses. So one cool thing about both of them is that their styluses are cross-compatible. So you can use the Stylo 6's stylus on the G Stylus and the G Stylus on the Stylo 6. That's hella confusing, but you get the point. So yeah, I mean, you have similar options in a way, and the stylus is just a personal preference. It's up to you if you're that type of person to use a stylus or not. I think it's really cool, but at the end of the day, I do end up forgetting that it's there after a week or two. But that's just me. Maybe you're someone who's really into the whole stylus game. Okay, so now let's talk about the cameras. So we discussed the camera specs, but really the TLDR behind both of these cameras is that they both produce some pretty acceptable shots. Now, one thing I want to say about the Stylo 6 is that the pictures on it do look a little bit kind of washed. They don't provide as much color as the G Stylus, and I did individual comparisons. If you want to see a really more in-depth, more in detail, I'll leave them linked in the description. You can go there and actually get a more detailed review on the cameras. But yeah, I mean, the Stylo 6, like I said, I mean, they both produce some pretty acceptable shots. The Stylo 6 to me is a little bit washed. The Motorola Moto G Stylus produces some better quality pictures. Just because I like to turn on, just because it just provides a better dynamic range. The colors on it pop a little bit more. So yeah, there's that for you. And so overall, both of these phones have a lot of things going for them. My personal recommendation would be the Moto G Stylus, just because it's going to be supported for years to come. Whereas the LG Stylo 6, unfortunately, as some of you may or may not know, the LG is no longer making phones. So my recommendation would be the G Stylus. It's a great replacement for people who want the stylus in their phones. And yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, leave a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.